get a gun. If you've only got one gun, you've got none. So get more.
So we used to have this thing where when we would have guests on the podcast, they would bring gifts, and it was always just random. It started out as alcohol, and then other people started bringing different things, and then it just stopped. And now all of a sudden, here's JD from Redland Rifle, and you come bearing gifts. This is wild. Feels like the old days. A little bit of nostalgia here.
I'm bringing them back.
Yeah, bringing it back. Let's give JD Redland a round of applause. Being the Santa Claus of the gun industry.
There's some good stuff in here.
What did you get? What'd you bring us?
So I got some ammo cans with goodies in them.
Oh, look at that. Look
Christmas
at this.
morning.
So for each of y'all, set of cables.
Wow, nice.
New shirts.
T-shirts.
There you go.
Yes. Go to Redland Rifle or the Devil will get you. Y'all look at this. Y'all need one of those. Oh, that's good. That's good. Actually, I feel like I seen you wearing this on social media or something?
I've got one on now, but yeah, I've had it for a couple weeks.
I saw it and I was like, ooh, I need one of those. That's awesome.
I'll be right back.
I'd say he's going to put a shirt on. Nice. I knew that was going to happen. Obviously, John Bird here, Tony Gump as well.
Yes.
And we had been talking amongst ourselves about bringing you on here for a long while, just because you've got a plethora of knowledge that we don't really have. And once all this stuff start happening in Birmingham, but some of the recent shootings that have happened, I was like, we need some gun people on this show. And who better than you? Obviously, you've been teamed up with 99.5 and all that. Everybody knows you. Hopefully, everybody's been to your store. But, I figured you'd have a plethora of knowledge you could help us out with. Wait a minute. Are you good?
Maybe I should check the sizes maybe before.
Are you good? Show us, do a little flex in the camera there, John Bird. Oh, yeah. You look good. Look at that.
Hilarious.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
That looks good. You look real good in that
awesome.
shirt. So, all right, we got shirts. We got the ammo cans, man. We're hooked up. What are these?
These are the Liberal Guide to the AR. They're little mats. I think you can use them as mouse pads.
Really?
Oh, nice.
I feel bad for Tony over there. He's not getting all the goodies.
Well, yeah, we'll get you your goodies.
I'll
Tony.
get them later. My hands are full here.
Fair
Don't
enough.
you worry, buddy. I'm gonna pull this out because I got to read the Liberal Guide to the AR. Is that what you said?
It is. Yeah.
Liberal Guide to the AR.
It better be gender neutral.
Yeah. Is it gender neutral?
I don't know.
Come on, baby.
hope
Come on
not.
out of there. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, it is like a mat. It's like a big, what'd you say? This is a giant mouse pad, too. Oh, that's good. All
Sweet.
right,
That's
so
awesome.
let's see what we got. Liberal's Guide to the Deadly AR-15. Shows the machine gun grip, the laser sniper scope, collapsible stock, full auto switch, and the hair trigger. Oh, I like that. Yeah, look at this.
Hitting the switches.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Wow.
This is going to really help some liberals.
We're just gonna throw them out the door. Just at Liberals all day.
Yeah, have you ever had somebody come in the store that, I mean, I know this is probably far-fetched, but just somebody that was obviously, pinko commie that, I don't know, maybe they felt like it was time for them to get a gun or something.
It happens quite a bit, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we've had a couple clearly trans folks come in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to sell them stuff.
Hey, everybody's got a Second Amendment, right?
Right, exactly. I like at the end of the day, if I'm going to say I support that, then I don't care what you do.
Well, what's the worst? And I know I've seen a video or two of people getting sideways in the store. I mean, if you had a lot of those, I mean,
we really don't. Oh, you're talking about the one I sent you the other day?
Yeah.
We really don't. I am big on customer service, and so we try to keep it as low key as possible. But sometimes it's that entitlement.
Right.
People have this entitlement, and the one you're talking about specifically, he thought that because he'd bought something from us before, he was he could just come in here and demand just whatever. So I'm like,
You still got to have a level of respect.
right. Well, I was working with another customer that made an appointment, and we were doing a suppressor, and it takes a little bit. So he got a little
Little antsy.
So
Well, and there's people out there, and Tony Gump knows this in the sense of the customer is always right. That's a good motto to go with as a store owner.
They're right even when they're wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's some people out there that will take advantage of that because they know you feel that way and they think they can just kind of railroad you over whatever.
So I would have agreed with that 10 years ago or before 2020, but I just don't know that I do anymore.
Throw that out the window.
Because we say at the store, like, we're not solving for the lowest common denominator anymore. So I'm not going through all the hoops to make sure that this person and that person, kind of like the contest that we do. It is straight up, you have to be here at 11:30, you have to be in the store, and you have to have a ticket. Other than that, you cannot win.
What's the contest?
So on the first Saturday every month, we give something away. So on the 5th of next month, we're giving away a Canik TTI Combat. So
what is that?
It's a relatively new pistol. It's super sexy.
Dang. You're giving away an entire pistol.
And we do it every month.
That's crazy.
We collect the tickets all year.
Is it always a firearm that you're giving away?
So far.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter what we give away.
That's crazy.
So
John, I'm looking at John Burt's face. He's trying to ask subconsciously how to get a ticket.
So what you do is you come in, and if you purchase anything, then you get a ticket. And then if you purchase a gun, you get another one. And so most you can get on a particular day is 2 tickets.
Yeah.
And we do have people come in that want to buy a whole case of ammo, but since they live around, they'll just come in and buy like 1 box at a time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to I didn't want to solve for everything, so I was like, I don't care. If you come in and you buy a 10-cent thing, you'll get a ticket. And they're like earplugs. And they're like, I can do that all day? I'm like, yeah, man, sure, go for it. I was like, but the thing is that if I let you do that every day, then I'm an idiot. Right. So if you do it 3 or 4 times, those things, I'm going to increase the price of those to $12 or $15 a piece.
Right.
For 10-cent earplugs. And people are like, I get it. I'm like, yeah. So I mean, you can screw me, and then we can just play this game, or you could just do it right.
Yeah. I mean, you could do like, you just get an entry for buying whatever, but then if you want to get your second or your third ticket, then you got to buy this number, this amount.
It's hard to track, though. I mean, that is we wanted to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So tracking all the numbers, and if you do $100, it's just here.
That's pretty wild.
And I'm sure 60 people in the store. I mean, it's insane.
Really?
There will be 60, 70 people standing in the store waiting for me to pull those tickets out. And
I had no idea you did that. That's crazy. Yeah.
It worked. I stole the idea, but it's absolutely awesome. We had a Covenant Rescue Group come in, do a presentation. So what I'm doing is bringing in people that are doing stuff for the community, or if you're a local shop or whatever, you can come in and talk to the customers about that sort of stuff. And then we did the People's Pantry.
Yeah.
So that we also, on that day, you can get an extra ticket for the next month's drawing if you bring in food for the pantry.
Food items, yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty crazy. I bet that would drive liberals absolutely insane to know that there's somebody out there giving away guns, Oh my God! It's just giving guns to anybody and everybody. No background check. No, you know how they are.
Are you doing that at a flea market? No. Come on.
That's so crazy. Universal background check. And I like these hats as well. Those are really nice. Yep. I think I'd seen a couple pictures of them before. Yeah, Redland Rifle Company.
There's a few different ones in there.
I'm a fan of the black on black and the gray on black. Those are good looking hats.
And y'all can have.
I've got a black with silver writing "Make America Great Again" hat coming from the Trump campaign. But I've been waiting like a month and a half. They said that demand is so high that it's taken forever for me to get my MAGA hat.
What does it look like?
It's just black with it's kind of a silver. It's like the regular MAGA hat, but it's black with silver writing instead of red and white. And it,
Interesting.
I guess it's good that demand's so overwhelming that they can't give me my hat. I didn't do anything special for it. I bought the hat and I donated like $5 to the campaign. But the downside to that, unless you really feel it in your heart to donate to Donald Trump, I don't necessarily suggest it because I have been bombarded with text and emails asking, and I'm like, y'all, man, you shouldn't do this.
Well, they buy all the voter rolls anyway, so you're already. I mean, you can get them from the you can buy voter rolls from the state of Alabama for 1 cent per record. And It's got an unbelievable amount of information in them.
Well, and I knew that that's how it operated, but I was still shocked at the sheer volume of text and emails that I get, and there's no way to stop them. Like it'll say stop to end on the text message. Well, you do that. Well, you're getting another one from another group. You know?
Right. Yeah,
but hey,
absolutely.
if it's working and it's getting Trump's campaign money and it's going to help him win, I'm 100% for it. That's fine. I'll take the proverbial bullets of text messages from the Trump campaign.
They're too easy to block.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of them. But yeah, good stuff. And you got stickers too. What is this?
Stickers.
Look at that.
Yes.
What do you keep these in the store?
I do.
I like this one.
Right.
Protect your family from the trans agenda.
From all the weirdness.
That's and this is the most Alabama thing ever, by the way. The go to Red Limb Rifle says go to church or
This
the
is
devil will
guitar
get you.
case stuff right here.
You gonna put that on your guitar
Yeah, it
case?
goes in the guitar case.
I knew he'd like the rainbow umbrella deal. That's right up his alley.
What do you mean?
No, I mean
What the hell does that mean?
I mean your frustration with the rainbow deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to like rainbows before they took them over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at one time it was supposed to be God's promise that
Yes,
he's
it
not going to
was.
flood the earth.
You think that was on accident?
No, probably not.
That they took that?
No, they're looking to take anything innocent and turn it into something bad. That's why they do what they do to the kids. I mean, we're going after the children, which is the point of that sticker.
Right.
It's pretty sickening. So I did want to talk to you about this stuff going on in Birmingham. It's not really new for us. I mean, we feel like we see it all the time. But it has gotten progressively worse under the leadership of one Randall Woodfin. Now, fortunately for you're like Vapor Forge. You're in unincorporated Shelby County. You're not in Birmingham. That's probably a good thing. But watching leadership address this problem is absolutely insane because they go after the firearms, or they go after their big thing is the Glock switches,
right?
And it's like, aren't those illegal anyway?
I mean, they're relatively new, I think, and that type of stuff doesn't become illegal until it hits the market and gets very, very popular.
I didn't realize they were new. I thought they may have been around a while.
I'd say relatively. I mean, but you can 3D print them now. I mean, so there's no stopping that.
It's a very simple design.
It is.
You just slap it on the back of your pistol, and you can shoot a lot of bullets at one time. But that's their big thing now. Like Randall Woodfin was at the White House. I guess this was yesterday. I think we've actually got video of it. Let's play just the first part of this, just so we can make everybody nauseous before we get too deep.
And now it is my great honor to introduce a leader and a friend who understands the urgency of
my
this
great
crisis.
honor
He is a mayor
to welcome
who
a
knows
mayor
firsthand what it is like
whose
to
citizens are
lose
being
a
killed
loved
every
one
day.
to gun violence and to see his community shaken by tragedy.
The dude in the middle
A
has
dear
no
friend
idea what's
who
going
is
on.
not only a local leader but a national leader. Please welcome Mayor Randall Woodfin.
Yeah, welcome.
Look at Joe Biden. How
Sell out.
confused he is. Joe Biden saying, "Who let this black guy in the White House?"
He absolutely is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for
Hey,
the
I'm
introduction.
Randall
Madam Vice
Woodfin.
President.
He kind of sounds like
My name
Snoop
is
Dogg a
Randall
little
Woodfin.
bit, but like Snoop Dogg from like 20
I am
years
honored to
ago.
serve as mayor of the city of Birmingham, Alabama. I want you all to know that I am
How is it you can do such a bad job and
Not here
you meet the
representing
president?
Right, that's the thing. That's the point. Okay,
I'm
we can
here
pause it.
representing 200,000
You are allowing your citizens to die in the streets on a daily basis. You're hitting record numbers of homicides, and you're rewarded by getting invited to the White House. What is the deal with that? John Bird, do you think if you were running Birmingham, they would invite you to the White House after 150 homicides?
No.
You don't think so?
What about after 130?
No.
I mean,
They
what's the
wouldn't.
cutoff?
If I kept it. You know what? There wouldn't be any homicides in Birmingham if I was in charge.
You think so?
You daggone right. I mean, ain't nobody going to do it on my watch. I would be out there with the troops. We would have all new uniforms. We'd have a whole new color scheme. It would be like black and silver and red. We would have the finest, fastest vehicles. I mean, it just...
He would call in the military after the first homicide. I actually know
I would
that
have
for
my
a
own
fact.
private military. We would call them police.
The anti-homicide paramilitary.
Yes.
John Bird military, yeah. There you go. So he goes through and talks about whatever he talks. I guess we can play another minute of this. I didn't even listen to the whole thing, but let's just hear Snoop Dogg talk.
Gun violence. Gun violence is
Today, Junior.
very, what I would say, very personal to me. Because I know the scream of a mother
Oh, God, here we go.
when her child is killed.
Okay, I'm done with it.
Like,
he's
makes
at
you
a
wanna
soy
throw up.
breakfast.
It really does.
When I
It's
grew
just-
up in a middle-class family, I mean, my gosh.
I was getting pushed around by Kalma's parents.
Yeah.
And they said, I want freedom.
So now I will say this: Randall Woodfin is, some of the people that have been killed in the city were actually relatives of his cousins or whatever. But it's like, doesn't that make it even worse? The fact that you're not actually addressing the problem, even though you're directly impacted by this. Like, you could almost understand, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris aren't being affected by immigration, so they don't do anything about it. Like, Randall Woodfin's being affected and still not doing anything. And he's a guy, and I pegged him with this for a while now. He is a guy that's not worried about Birmingham. He's a guy that's trying to be the next Barack Obama. He wants a higher office. He wants to work in the administration or whatever. In 8 years, if not 4 years, he'll be on a DNC stage running for president. I don't think he could be successful, but he'll be doing that. That's what he wants.
You're absolutely right.
He's always looking for photo ops, and he'll probably get John Bird to be on his campaign.
Oh, hell no. Let me tell you, he's destroying Birmingham in more ways than one, because we've got all these wonderful facilities that we've built, the stadium and all this, and eventually it's going to get to the point where people don't want to go. They don't feel safe.
Yeah.
You think about UAB. Would you want your kid going to UAB?
It's crazy, and we really don't talk a lot of local stuff on the show, on the radio show. But it is crazy to see the direction the city's going, because it's almost like they're doing things that they should have done a long time ago, as far as kind of sprucing up the place, I guess. But it's meaningless because this stuff is going on. Building an amphitheater, cool idea. Would have liked that, 10, 15 years ago. But it's meaningless because it's on such a dangerous side of town.
Right.
The City Walk under the interstate, super cool. That place looks super cool. Good place to take the family and hang out and spend a day. Except crime's through the roof, so it's not a good place to take your family.
It's a cart before the horse.
Right.
You've got to take care of the crime downtown, then build the structures. Not just build something and just hope they're going to come. Eventually, they're not. We're going to lose. We're going to lose our football team in a couple of years if this doesn't. I mean, if they don't do something.
Yeah, Birmingham Stallions are going to trot out of town.
All that winning.
Gallop out of town.
Yeah.
They're going to be heading to
Sick.
Tim Wall's house. So, and I think what was when we talk about, and you can pull this article up. This is the CNN article from when that happened. When we talk about that particular shooting, 4 dead, 17 injured, the location of where that happened, I think, was probably the most shocking part, because it was on. It was at 5 Points South, and
I know,
any of
man.
us that have grown
Used
up
to
around here,
love to go down there.
we
Work
always
down
hung
there.
out there. Always went to
The
those
goat,
bars.
the goat fountain.
Yeah, it was the place to be, and it was never unsafe. It's where all the nightlife was, and it's like that's a lot of people now go to Lakeview over by what's over there, Innisfree and Moe's, and
Or they hang out in the Winn-Dixie parking lot.
or the Winn-Dixie parking
Yeah,
lot.
drive
Still
around
Alabama,
circles.
so that's good.
Did y'all do that when you were younger? Just hang out in the parking lot, like in high school?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did Walmart, and I think we hung out in the school parking lot a lot.
Now we would get drunk and walk across the bridge that went over the river.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is that? In North Carolina?
In North Carolina, yeah.
That bridge probably ain't there today, cuzzy.
No, it's probably not. I
I
hadn't been there in 30 years, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They're having
Actually,
serious
they gave me a key to the city, but I didn't show up. I should have.
John Berg gets
Had a
a key to the
parade
city and he
and
loses it.
Yeah,
lost it.
exactly.
I always said Locust Fork, which is where I went to high school, that they should give me a key to the city.
You got a shot, man. We need to work on that in 2025.
I've got to think that I'm the most popular person to come out of there. I mean,
I think you just make it yourself.
I think we got. I think there's a kid that plays for Arkansas State right now, so I guess he can be considered famous. I mean, he's on NCAA 25. So, but come on, not only am I the most famous person to come out of Locust Fork, I would have been voted least likely to become famous coming out of Locust Fork.
What we need to do is have about maybe 5,000 bobbleheads of you made up and pass them out downtown.
Oh, there you go.
In Locust Fork, or
Yes.
because I don't think there's a downtown Locust Fork.
Okay, we'll go door to door.
Yeah, we'll have to leave them on people's
drop
porches.
them at the city hall / senior center.
That's
Yep.
right. That's
there
right.
you go. That's how you do it, man. You just cover the town.
We'll go pick up a handful of Haitian migrants and have them hand them out, and that'd be good. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in South Alabama, Spanish Fort area.
Spanish Fort.
Ah, yes.
So you grew up near the beach, not on the
About
beach,
45
but
minutes an hour.
that'd be nice. I wish I lived near the beach.
I live near the beach, about that far away.
He lives near
Never
the
went.
beach in his mind.
I
He
don't
lives
like
near
it.
the beach.
I mean, I grew up down there, but I don't like going in the.
You like the
really?
mountain? Do you like the mountains?
I do. I'm a freshwater person though. So
Really?
You just feel nasty coming out of the Gulf.
Yeah, I always loved the mountains, and I thought when I got married, and moved here, I'm like, well, wow, this is close to the mountains. Never been to the mountains. Always lose out. End up going to the beach.
So if you could pick one location across the whole country, town, city, whatever, to live in, and you have to live there the rest of your life, you're never able to leave again, where would it be?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. Tony Gump.
You couldn't get there today.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't be leaving.
You got a helicopter?
Yeah.
Well, considering it depends who wins November 5th. If the person I don't want to win November 5th, I'm looking like maybe Appalachia. I'll just go up there, hang out with those people.
Ooh,
That's
no,
what-
don't do that.
That's what makes the question so pertinent, is because you have to decide today, not knowing who's going to win the election, like what city.
Okay, I changed my mind. Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. No, we got to do it within this country.
Oh, crap. Puerto Rico.
Okay, I'll give you Puerto
Technically,
Rico.
that's all right. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, Tony, you just going to stick with Appalachia just to make sure?
Yeah, just to make sure, because I think if you're going to conquer the U.S. from within, I think Appalachia, those people, I think that's probably going to be the hardest spot for those people to
that'll
get.
be the last stop for
The
the
problem
government.
is they're not going to accept you. You're not going to be roll up.
Exactly.
They're going to shoot you on site because you're going to
Yep.
roll up and because you don't have any.
That's true.
Unless you got family or stuff.
Well, I'm
up
really
there.
worried about. I'm worried about like drones and things, because they can find you anywhere. They can find you even underground. They got all kinds of tools at their disposal. I just feel like that's the last spot they care about the most. So maybe just go up there, hang out with the hillbillies.
I've changed my
It
mind.
may have the highest concentration of guns though, so it may be the first one they hit.
That's true.
I've changed my mind. I'm Montana.
There you go.
Montana. Okay.
Wait,
that's not
no.
bad.
opening up.
South Dakota or Montana. Either one of those.
Maybe on the state line.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, see, Montana's a good idea. That's where the owner of Fox News went. He just bought that big, like $250 million, huge spot, kind of like Yellowstone kind of feel to it.
The problem is when if you go to a place like that, chances are your neighbors are going to be Chinese, since the Chinese are buying up all that land.
Or Haitian.
Or Haitian.
You're going to get there and your place will be full of Haitians.
Chinese or Haitian.
No,
That's
it's
your
going to be,
neighbors.
for me, it's going to be like Dances with Wolves. I'm going to build me a little mud hut out in the middle of nowhere, and that's where I'm going to live.
I
off
could
the
I could
grid.
see that. I could see that.
Now, I could also see Alaska, too, a little bit. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. Maybe seasonal during the summer.
No, you don't mess with Alaska. They got bears and stuff.
But then they
bad
got
stuff.
they have hardly no daylight, right? No, they have too much daylight. They don't have any night. Doesn't the sun
doesn't
stay
it-
up for
it
like 20
rotates.
hours?
It
Depends
doesn't
on where you
rotate. It's either a lot of night or a lot of day.
Yeah, that'd mess you up though.
Yeah, it does have
Yeah.
the highest per capita fugitives, though. People that are trying to
really?
run
And
from the law.
probably suicide. Probably
Yeah.
suicide.
Yeah, because that sun and moon thing would mess you up.
But they're not affected by it. They're not affected by the time change. They're like, all right, it's just 11 o'clock now.
Right.
no clue.
Hey, they're used
Daylight
to
or
it.
dark.
What's your level of concern when it comes to, because you feel the same way we do about the government, federal government, especially the state of it right now. What's your level of concern when it comes to like when the government crosses that threshold and becomes tyrannical and just like over the top, stripping away freedoms? They're already doing that, obviously, at a level.
Well, I was going to say Lincoln,
but
out when that happened. So
on a scale of 1 to 10, it's at a 1776. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It's yeah, and obviously, I mean, you listen to the show. We talk about it all the time, but every day it seems like it's creeping further and further to, you know, the country that we once knew is not going to be there anymore.
Well, it's not here anymore, anyways.
Yeah.
But it's the velocity of change. The rate of change has increased so much that you can't wrap your head around it.
Yeah,
I mean, you really can't. And so things that were taking 50 years to happen have happened in 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. And so it's the rate of change that should scare everybody to death,
yeah.
in my opinion.
And then, well, these people have no shame either. You know,
Well, that just also tells us it's all by design. This is all being done on purpose.
100%.
just like the immigration, all by design, leaving the borders open. We're gonna suffer a terror attack at some point, and it's all by design. The people that leave the borders open, they know that's gonna happen, and I think it's why what you guys do is so important, because I mean, at some point you ain't gonna have a choice but to protect yourself. Over in Seattle, their police just announced that they are no longer going to be responding to home burglary systems, like alarm systems. If they go off, the alarm system or company calls them, they're not going out. They're not doing it at all. And that's going to happen in cities all across the country.
You could make a lot of money if you've got a personal security company.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, it really is, because we don't do communities anymore. Nobody talks to their neighbors. Nobody knows anything about anybody. And so we're all strangers.
Yeah.
You know what? I've decided what I'm going to get myself for Christmas. I've been thinking about this, and it's time. JD, it's time. I'm going to Redland Rifle, and I want you to sell me a kick-ass. I mean, I'll be on a budget, but I need a budget kick-ass John Wick type of 9mm.
Well, you may want to go buy a lot of those earbuds and just see if you win with those tickets.
Yeah. Maybe do that, Bird.
Yeah.
And then you can get something good. What?
Well, if we get hitched, remember?
Oh,
right?
yeah, they
Right?
said
It's
something.
yours.
Remember that?
was me.
He texted in about marrying you or something.
That's right.
What was the thing behind that? I don't even remember.
I don't either.
Was it
I
a tax write-off or
I thought it was just
something?
funny.
No, seriously though, like if we're just doing hypothetical, and let's pretend John Bird's got enough money to get whatever he wants, and he wants a handgun.
Kick-ass John Wick 9mm.
Kick-ass John Wick 9mm. Doesn't have to be 9, but what gun would you tell him to go with?
Yeah.
And we can Google it so we can see.
I've shot
it.
before. I mean, rifle, pistol. I mean, so I've got experience.
He's shot his shot before. That's what he's saying.
I've taken out some folks. I don't want to talk about it.
Don't say that. We're gonna get a warning label on the video.
Joking.
I mean, it really just depends on what you're trying to accomplish here. So if you want something everyday carry, like I carry when I put my pants on, I've got a pistol on. And when
JD, you tell me. You tell me what I need.
Oh, see, I can't do that, because here's the thing. Do you want everyday carry? Do you want to carry it all the time, or do you want something for the house?
Now if he gets one, he's carrying it every day.
All right.
Come on, because I've never been in prison or anything like that, or no felony, so I'll be able to. Yeah.
So interestingly about that right there. So one of the questions on there, everybody assumes that it's the if you're a felony, but if you read it, which nobody does, it actually says a felony, or if the judge could have given you more than a year in jail, then you are actually not. You're prohibited from buying a firearm.
How are you supposed to know that?
Exactly.
Do you sell BB guns then?
We do.
No, I'm joking.
I've got a 50 cal air gun that they go that they go and shoot. They go big game hunting with.
Dang.
What?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've got some air guns they're called PCPs, pre-charged pneumatic.
Yeah. We need to see those.
9mm, 22, 357, and like 4,500 psi tanks and stuff.
That's crazy. Is it something like? I mean, if you shot somebody with it, is it gonna?
They're very dead.
It will kill them.
Oh yeah. I mean,
so it's not like airsoft. It's,
no. You can go on you can look on Google for big game hunting with Umarex 50 cal.
Umarex, U-M-R-E-X.
Yeah, U-M-E. Yeah,
E-R-E-X. Okay, so I was thinking if it was more of like an airsoft deal where it just puts a really bad whelp on you, we would get John Bird to do it on the show.
Oh,
but-
hell
So
no.
I have something for that.
I don't wanna kill him.
So we have some shotgun rounds that are made by a company called Byrna, and I've actually
He's shotgun. Wait, man. Wait, JD.
buddies and I shot ourselves with them, and I've got the video. It hurts, something awful, but they look like little tiny atomic bombs.
Yeah.
It's a 12 gauge, but the only thing that propels it is the primer, and you shoot out of a very short barrel shotgun.
Y'all shot
and
each other
hurts.
with it?
Oh yeah.
Is it on YouTube?
No, it's on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we could put it on.
We could probably find somebody that's done it on YouTube, I'm sure. All right, so this is that one of the rifles there?
Yep.
Humorex.
Yeah, there it is.
Dang.
Right there.
Gosh.
So it's a 2-shot semi-automatic. That tank right there holds, I don't know, half a liter of air at 4,500 psi, and it's got it'll push a 550 grain pellet 950 feet per second.
What's the purpose of this? Just you don't want to contaminate your food with lead, or
Well,
what?
no. Well, actually, you're shooting with lead, but they don't require a background check.
Really?
Yeah, that is-
and it's just as effective as most other
And
firearms.
quieter.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Is that an arrow sticking out of the
Yeah,
end?
yeah. That's the Saber. That's a 50. Yep. That'll.
So you don't even have to use a bow anymore.
Huh.
You just
Oh man, how much are those?
It's probably about $1,000. So if you've never gotten into the pre-charged pneumatic stuff before, you're looking at about $1,200 because you've got the rifles are relatively expensive, but also you need you can't pump them up with your air compressor in the house. So it's a smaller one. It costs about $400 or $500, but it goes up to 4,500 psi. Or you could if
and
you're
you get it
scuba diver.
refilled.
Well, if you buy the pump, you just refill it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And like right there, those are the pumps.
That's crazy. Huh?
Yeah,
And-
they're fascinating.
Are
They're
they
awesome.
are they popular at all? I mean,
Not many people know about them, but when they buy them and they come back, and they're like, "This is absolutely awesome."
That is pretty crazy.
I don't know,
didn't
but I
exist.
kind of want one.
Yeah.
I'm looking
I
at
mean,
it
those are
now.
pretty dope.
I've got some at the house. I got the girls will shoot,
Yeah.
but they're
That's
awesome.
cool.
Wait a minute. I got an idea. We need to find a cool place. We need to get some guns, and we need to go shoot them, and we'll video it.
He always does this. Anytime we come up with an idea, we immediately goes, "We got to video it."
Go out there and
it.
have a
I
good
like it.
time. Have a picnic.
Let's talk real quick about the background check thing because I'm fascinated by that. So, when you hear politicians talk about background check this, background check that, it's all BS. Everybody's getting a background check. You know, maybe a granddad that's giving his shotgun to his grandson's not background checking, but everything else, every other transaction, there's a background check because you don't want to lose your license. You don't want to go to jail, and neither does anybody else selling firearms. When they say universal background check, they're essentially saying they want to do something that already exists.
In a lot of ways, but the universal background check basically, from what I understand, means that every transaction has to have a background check, no matter if it's a private
Including
party,
family members.
everything.
Yeah.
And some states have rules against it. Alabama doesn't. Private party sales. I mean, you don't need a background check for that. There's a couple things that you're not supposed to transfer it to somebody that you know is a felony and things like that. But it's
Right.
all passive. Like these are things. It's just like when Hunter Biden, that's that 4473 that he got in trouble for.
Right.
These are things that they use when you get in trouble and they just want to stack more stuff on it. Mm-hmm. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is that most of the firearm transactions have background checks. It's the systems that don't work.
Right,
On their
right.
end, right? But also, I mean, you really don't want every bit of your life
Hand it over to the government
plugged into a database.
because they're going to keep it.
Right, exactly. And then China's going to steal it, or they're just going to give it to them. I don't know, whichever one. It's like,
You're gonna end up on TikTok. So, with the felony thing, you said, all right, the rule of thumb when applying for a gun, you just really are trying to make sure you're not a felon. And is there any punishment for attempting to get or run a background check knowing that you've got a felony? Like if you're attempting to buy a firearm, is there any punishment from the government for that?
so we're supposed to let folks know, like let the law enforcement know when it gets
A felon tries to.
Yeah,
okay.
because they're supposed to know. But the reality is that we've had more than one denial that was incorrect. A buddy of mine, yeah, absolutely. A buddy of mine came in right after we opened, and he got denied. He's like, "What?" And there's a process to you submit your stuff, and they'll let you know. But a lot of times it's because the way they do matching at the FBI, because the FBI is the one that does the background checks,
right?
And so there's not a ton of information transmitted to the FBI either. It's like your name, your address, social, I don't even think the height and weight. There's very little on that form that's transmitted. You don't transmit the firearms, or you just transmit the type.
Right.
You could have 100 firearms in there. If they're all pistols, it'll say pistols.
You're right.
And then that's about it.
Interesting. That's wild. Because I didn't know if somebody that was a felon was trying to get a gun anyway, even though they were doing the background check, and that's what it's there for. If they could themselves get in trouble for attempting to.
I believe there's something I'd have to go. The verbiage on the 4473 explains that, hey, look, if you do this fraudulently, because you're signing it saying that everything on here is true, right? So it is perjury if you're.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I mean, but they're not going to come after you, right? They're going to wait until something happens, and then they're going to go, oh well, look at this, and they're going to put you in jail for 12 more years for some piece of paper.
So what about this judge 1 year deal you were mentioning? What does that mean?
So I wish I'd brought one with me. There's a number of questions, and one of them is just funny because everybody says they just read the felony part and they just say no. They don't read to the end of the sentence, and it's a government form, so you don't do anything but answer it
people
exactly.
Don't read fine print,
right? Well, it's not even fine print, but people don't process it, and it's a government form, so you just answer exactly like it's asked. Don't read into it. Don't give them any more information than you have to. It's not that difficult, but if you read it, it says or could have, and the thing is they bold felony, but they don't bold the rest of it.
Well, what does it mean by
That's
could
scary.
Have? Like, I don't understand.
So let's say that you a DUI, right? And I don't know, you get manslaughter. I don't know how long the reality of this, but it would be if you got manslaughter, and let's say they sentence you to 5 years, or they could have sentenced you to 5 years, but they only sentence you to 11 months and 29 days or whatever.
On a felony?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, so it's saying do you either have a felony or have you had to do time over a charge, any charge,
or the could have,
could have.
You don't. So let's
charge.
say you get a charge and it has a 2 year. They could have given you 2 years, but they suspended it. Right. Well, they could have given you 2 years.
So when you in that say that's a misdemeanor, whatever it is. All right, you got a misdemeanor that's got a 2 year max, but they don't sentence you to jail. You can't.
That's how it reads.
Oh, that's how it reads. Yeah. But if somebody applies and that is true,
but nobody knows this. Like, I mean, I've been arrested 5 times.
And you can, I guess you'd have to call the judge and be like, "Hey, you remember this case from 10 years ago?
Right.
Could you tell me like how much you were going to give him?"
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And nobody thinks about that stuff.
Yeah.
So if you read it as it is stated, and the fact that it says or the judge could have given you more than a year in jail, you're prohibited from purchasing this.
See, I would get nervous and be like, I guess
scared.
it's possible.
No,
maybe.
You wouldn't have read it. Nobody else would have read it at all.
Yeah, I
at all.
definitely would have
So,
read it.
But then they would go back and they would look at this podcast and they'd say, well, you were aware of it.
Yeah,
What if
that's
they
true.
That's true. Well, I will tell you, though, the scariest thing about having a gun store is at night, they jump off the walls. And they just run around the store. The guns do.
The guns, yeah.
It's like
Did
Toy
they
Story.
really?
Oh, yeah, every time, yeah.
That's just like that's what the left tells you.
Yeah.
Guns kill people, not people.
I want one of those.
But do you?
You just gun, stand out in front of my house tonight, guard the place.
Yeah, like a dog. Like a dog.
Like a
that would
good
be
dog.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Woof woof. Bang bang.
I'm pretty sure they have those, and they're scary as hell. The who's the robotics team that builds those?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that. You do not want that.
Oh no, I want one of those sideways walking dogs and that shit. No.
Have that.
So, and for people that don't know, I think a lot of our audience knows about Redland Rifle, but we do have a little bit of a different audience when it comes to this podcast. You guys have a unique store where you can walk in there and just pick up the guns and check them out, see how they feel, hold them, see the weight of them, instead of having a bunch of stuff behind glass where you have to go to the guy at the counter and ask him for each and every one, right?
So go back and just go to images. I've been making some changes to the website.
No, we were working on the website.
Yeah. No, well, it's a totally different marketing. So that
Okay, yeah, there's some good pictures.
So yeah, we affectionately call it cage-free firearms, and so they're locked, they're tethered. So they got trigger locks on them, and it's funny when we first opened, people are, oh, this seems more dangerous, and I'm like, well, here's the thing, if you steal these, you still got to get this trigger lock off, and how many are you going to get out of my store?
Yeah,
right. And not to mention, you go to a regular gun store, and what do? They take it out of the case, they hand it to you, and they walk off and help somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is that you can touch 300, 400 firearms and see which ones fit the best. So that's why it's hard for me to answer your question. Is like, so come in and see how they all feel.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, we have a very low number of people that try to return things or anything like that. Cause
Those look badass right there.
Oh yeah, that's
Cole
nice.
right there doing
Good Lord.
upright. Yeah.
So, speaking of theft, have you had any instances of that?
Not that I know of.
It's like, oh God.
And you know, we scan all of the serials for the firearms every single day.
Yeah.
Takes about 15 minutes. We just started doing that maybe 2 months ago, and I actually stole that from a place I used to work. But yeah.
Were you in the gun industry? You were in the business before Redland or no? Oh, gotcha.
I'm an IT guy. I'm not a gun guy.
Yeah.
I have my things that I'm interested in. But I tell folks all the time, I'm like, look, if you want a suggestion, this is not the guy, because I'm going to tell you the truth, and the truth is that the vast majority of people don't outshoot the regular equipment they have.
Yeah.
And so it's unbelievably hard for me to be like, oh, you need this $12,000 scope. And I'm like, because
you're good at helping people figure out what they want when they don't realize
exactly. And that's what it's all about, questions.
Yeah.
Sales.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, that's it right there. And so we get a lot of positive feedback from the way that we're set up, from the customer service, everything.
I think that part's fascinating. I got a good friend of mine who was the owner of Blount County Tactical in Aniana, and he was open for a long time, and you know, he kind of did things the traditional way. It was all behind glass and everything else. He ended up selling that company just a few months ago. But he had a couple of instances where people came in there and stole a pistol. I think the first one, or the last one that I remember, was a female, and she comes in and does, like you said, you know, hey, let me see that. Pull it out from behind the glass, put it on. She's picking it up. She's looking at it. Well, he goes to help another customer, and next thing you know, she's dipping out with that firearm.
And if they had an ammo in there, if they had a magazine or they had a bullet in their pocket or whatever, I mean, it's so. That's why we have trigger locks on our stuff.
Yeah,
we have toys. I have toys for kids at the front of the store.
Yeah,
because I have kids, and so we literally have toys that they can play with. And I will tell customers all the time, if the kids are happy, the parents can like buy things. They can look at stuff. So we have toys there. I mean, it's very family friendly.
That's smart. That's a smart move.
Yeah. So and the idea was to make it if an Apple store and a gun store had a baby. That was the plan.
That's the spot right there.
And so and I have an IT background. And so everything is, we automate a lot of stuff. People don't know it, but they conversate with the AI bots that I've built that sound like me.
John Bird.
But I'm only one person. I can have a conversation about AI. I can have a conversation about just about anything. But yeah.
Well, and I mean, AI is not bad yet, but John Bird's completely free. With you knowing as much as you do about AI, maybe you can find a way to protect John Bird from AI.
He can control it.
Yeah,
no, you can't control it. It's going to kill us. Don't get me wrong. But,
oh my God!
We can do good with it though. You don't have to use it for bad.
You're my buddy. You're my best buddy now.
You can play nice with it.
Yeah, you can. So one of the things that I love doing is when the girls bring home homework, right, and you want to give them more practice, I'll literally take a picture of it and I will tell the assistants the bots and stuff that I built, hey, generate me more problems like this. Give me 100. Make them progressively harder, and I just tell them it's for a 6-year or this or that, and then it will just spit that stuff out, and you hand it over, and it's like, here's a whole bunch of extra work that you can do that's instantly done.
Now, see, that's the way to do it.
And then I take since I know my girls, if they're word problems, I will have it create word problems for things based on things they're interested in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just this random. If the train leaves the station traveling, it's like no. If Hermione or whoever, like the little one likes Harry Potter, so I will say, hey, build some scenarios and word problems as with Harry Potter and Hermione as the hero.
Wow.
And she loves them.
Fascinating.
That's a lot better than celebrities telling fart jokes. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah, he does.
Well, anything to make $1.
He's a wild card. I mean, we're both wild cards. Did you hear Angry Shakespeare today on the show?
Oh, I did. I've been buried.
It was.
Oh my gosh.
It was so bad that his face was turned red, and I was sweating because I was laughing so hard.
That's awesome.
I was laughing my ass off just listening.
Yeah, and we had already heard it once because we played it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it was like, wow.
There's more coming. Oh, Lord.
He's always,
yeah.
we do it, and we're like, oh yeah, this will pass the smell test on the radio, and then once we're playing it on the radio, we're just waiting to get in trouble. We're like, oh
Yeah.
god,
like nervous pushing the go button.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
we're just waiting to get canceled.
That's hilarious.
So we were talking about Woodfin and all that stuff, and one of the things that he's been concentrating on are these switches, these Glock switches, and that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about. He put out this video right here, and he said that this was the Birmingham Police Department doing a demonstration on what a Glock switch does to a pistol, a Glock, and this is what it shows.
That's so awesome.
Look, you see how surprised John Bird was by
Yeah.
that?
I love it.
Hi, JD.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what I want for Christmas.
I mean, everybody should have
So
one
is
of
it-
those. What's the
essentially-
problem? Look what he's doing. See, it jams up. That thing is gonna. Those are not made to run like that. So those will wear out a lot fast. I'm not defending it. But
The gun
let's be
itself
honest.
will
exactly
wear out.
Yeah, those are not full auto rated things, right? So you could put thousands of rounds to it, but eventually it's going to wear out a lot faster than if you just went.
That's
That's
wild.
music to my ears.
But fundamentally, what's the problem?
Nothing.
Right? Exactly.
Well, and I think the argument that's being made is it's different than, like, the bump stock argument was stupid because
It's all stupid.
it's one bullet per trigger pull. You just got vibrations going on or whatever. Same thing here, except you aren't having to pull the trigger over and over, but it still doesn't matter.
Right. I say put these in the hands of citizens.
Yeah.
Right? Let's give them for free. If I could 3D print them and give them away and not get in trouble, I would. I mean, for
Yeah.
crying out loud, shoot back at these assholes.
Exactly. If the people in Birmingham and 5 Points the other night knew that there was 100% chance that 40% of people in that area were armed, they would have never started shooting.
Well, the other thing is too is like the police. They're all like they're not. We need a way to like make them more visible, right? I
Right.
wouldn't dress them in black. Let's put them in reflective yellow. All the cars, everything. Put them in the medians. Let people see them
Well,
instead of
some-
hiding behind the
Right.
woods trying to get you on a speeding ticket or whatever.
Well, in
It's ridiculous.
some cities, they have them dressed in like rainbow uniforms. The cops' cars have rainbows on them. It's like Seattle and Portland, Oregon.
I wouldn't do anything they do.
Yeah, those are not very intimidating.
I think they shoot Nerf guns, don't they? They
But
replace theirs
yeah,
with
they do.
Nerf guns.
But
Those
you're
are
right,
scary.
because like if you're driving down the highway and say you're speeding, when you see a cop over on the side of the road, what do? You
slow
slow
down.
down and follow the
Absolutely.
wall.
Yep.
So the more of those are out there,
They do it in Chelsea. The cop car that they move all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they
And
got
it's
the dummy in
the
it?
dummy in it that gets me every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
You at
Me
least
too.
check. You're like,
Yeah, it's there, but you just see as soon as you see that cop car out of the corner of your eye, you're like, "Brr."
but you don't know either.
Yeah,
Right,
you-
that's the thing.
They
Right.
should just randomly stick a real cop in there from time to
I
time.
wouldn't be
and just-
surprised if they do.
They
I mean,
might.
they should.
I mean, they could be video.
Well, it's like you pull up, and the first thing you see is something in there
Right.
in the driver's seat.
yeah.
And that's going to be your first reaction.
So on this video, and this will be educational for John Bird, this shows the mechanics of, because I didn't really understand how it worked, and I know you probably do.
That's not even a Glock, so I don't even again.
I don't know.
This
May give us a bunch of false information for all I know.
It's probably AI generated.
But yeah, play that real quick.
Ever wondered how a tiny switch can turn a regular Glock into something much more powerful? Or why law enforcement agencies are increasingly cautious about this modification? Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Glocks with switches.
Still haven't seen a Glock.
Trust me, it's not your average gun talk. If you're curious about guns,
or if you could start a campaign
safety,
for the females and say, bitches with
Today's
switches,
topic is all about
and get everybody armed.
how a Glock
Buy that
and the
domain.
switch operates. Let's get
and that's
into
all it is, that little bitty
First
piece
off,
right there.
A quick primer on what a Glock is. Originating from Glock Jess and BH, these semi-automatic pistols are named for their polymer frames, short recoil operation, and striker-fired mechanisms. But the game changes entirely when you introduce a switch into the mix. You might be asking, what exactly is this switch? It's a small device that, when added to a semi-automatic firearm like a Glock,
So Glock makes them.
transforms it into a fully automatic weapon.
Look, that's made by Glock.
This means that instead of
that switches.
discharging one bullet with each trigger pull, the gun fires continuously for as long as the trigger is pressed. It's
Oh,
a
man, I want
significant
one.
operation, and let's be clear, it's heavily regulated and often illegal in many jurisdictions.
Yeah.
Now let's delve into the mechanics.
Here's what I want to
Does
know.
this switch actually work on a Glock? It's quite a transformation. The switch, often a small piece of metal, replaces the slide cover
So
plate
it just
on the back of the Glock.
okay, yeah.
This
Pause it
simple-
there. So essentially, it's just a little a piece of metal that blocks the mechanism that stops it from firing for a second time when you pull the trigger. Is that it?
Yeah.
I got that right.
Basically, I mean, so you're literally, it's like putting a piece of 2x4 over a gap and walking over, right? It's like it's not ever going to fall down in the gap.
I'll tell you what it's like. Remember back in the day,
It's like freedom.
It's like freedom. when we were using cassette tapes and you wanted to record something off the radio, you would take that piece of paper and put it in that little hole, and it would you could hit the record button and you could record over whatever that tape was. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, that's
Look
a
at
good
that.
analogy right there.
But it's crazy about how, I don't want to say primitive, but it's how simple it is. There's no crazy, technology to it. It's just, you're just sliding something in there.
Well, the people that made the firearm also made the switch.
Right.
And so it's not that hard to get out there and reverse engineer these things.
So Glock, you think Glock's the originators?
Well, yeah, you could see that there were a lot of switches there shown that had Glock made in Austria on the back of it. Yeah, so it was produced by Glock.
Yeah, that one was for sure.
Then you got people that have 3D printers and half a brain.
Yeah, because it would be easy to make something like that yourself to put in there. But like you said, it's going to wear your pistol out the more you use it. So I don't know.
Well, the reality is that like the switch is not the problem.
You're right.
It's the clown behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, I mean, I am an absolutist when it comes to Second Amendment.
Yeah.
I don't because this pendulum has swung so far the other way that we have to become absolutists. We're like, hey, oh well.
If you, we all know that if you give them every little thing, I dare to say that the worst thing Trump did was the bump stock deal, simply because that if they've got a Republican that was willing to do that, that opens the door for all kinds of other stuff, including something like the switch, where they just gradually take more and more and more.
So this is what concerns me. So I am a libertarian through and through. Right?
Yes.
I don't like any of these people. Right, but I'm not an idiot.
Right.
Right. So I know what the 4 years of Trump were like. I didn't care that he, I didn't listen to his tweets or anything like that. It didn't matter to me. I'm not trying to be his buddy.
Right.
Right. But I mean, it's the thing is that he banned the bump stocks, and I have a huge problem with that, because now that he's been shot, I'm really kind of concerned about what'll come up.
I bet he feels differently too.
Right.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern. I mean, because it would make sense that if you get shot at and literally hit, that changes. And everybody was talking about it. They're like, Donald Trump's attitude is going to change, and that only lasted so long. But that it would change the way you view certain things. especially when it directly relates to what happened to you.
Right.
I would hope that it does not change how he feels about the Second Amendment, but he's a former Democrat. Right. And
he's a New Yorker.
You know, he's a New Yorker.
He didn't live in any kind of like gun. It was not an option.
Right. So you just, I mean, you don't know, but the bump stock, I like we said, that was one of the worst moves that he pulled, because you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Well, and especially the big thing that we're going to really get screwed on is red flag laws.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's, I mean, it. And does he support those?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I don't.
He's talked like, you know, common sense, gun stuff, blah, 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 which is where his mind was when he did the bump stock thing. But I've never heard him mention, like, we need more laws on people getting firearms of any kind.
Outside of the bump stock.
Outside of the bump stock. So this is, and we've kind of taken this angle over the past couple of episodes when we're bringing in people that haven't been on the show before, with the election coming up. Like, what is JD, business owner, libertarian, like, what is your overall view of what's coming up in this election? Like, what do you hope happens? What do you think's going to happen?
So I don't think we're going to know who the president is till probably March. At least January, but probably not March.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be ugly.
It's very, very ugly, because it's bad.
Yeah.
It's real bad. And I don't have a ton of expectations. I don't have a ton of plans past like March, because it is that scary to me.
Right.
There's a very specific reason why I opened the gun store.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is that if you had $1 million worth of guns and ammo in your garage, you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
I'm just an entrepreneur now.
There you go.
Do you think the economy is going to get even worse during that period of not knowing?
I mean, probably.
Stock market and all that. I mean,
yeah. Just between now and November,
and not knowing,
you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something coming, right? Because you look at this, and they are still pretending like Kamala,
like everything's fine. She's going to win.
Fine. So it just tells me that like there is something still coming, because they are way too okay with this.
Right.
They're way too okay.
Say, let's just do hypothetical. Kamala Harris wins, okay, and we're looking into the future. What does JD tell the average person that they need to do to be all right? For instance, whether it is stock up on ammo or stock up on food, like what would you suggest to the? Let's just use John Bird. All right, you're talking to John Bird. He's a friend. Things are about to get really bad. What does John Bird need to do to survive the next 3 to 6 months?
Am I that far gone, JD? Be honest.
So here's the thing. I've been doing this for like the kind of the prepping thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so if you're just now getting into it and just now like, oh God, I don't know that you have a chance.
Yeah.
Crap.
Other than
help me.
The reality. Well, here's the reality is I think that what you should do is go out and buy as much guns and ammo and food, because I'm going to need a place to shop at some point.
Yeah, right.
Right. Because I mean, that's the reality, right? I mean, a lot of nobody does the training. Nobody does any of this stuff, but they also they never got started, so they don't have generators. They don't have anything, and so it's going to go downhill really fast.
And not to mention with the economy the way it is, I mean, a lot of people can't even afford to like prepare, just because of the state of everything. I mean, you could go to Costco and buy what is the thing called they sell there, the big meal kit. What is it? You've seen it, Tony. It's a big prepper jug, and it's.
I got two big cases of the Patriots.
Patriot Supply.
Yeah, Patriot Supply. I got a couple of those big boxes.
Guy with the big voice.
I cloned his voice and used it for our.
Oh, did you?
For the store. I probably should say that.
AI.
Yeah, absolutely. I use 11 Labs.
So, guns, ammo, and food. Just whatever
Basically.
you can do, and
you need to know your neighbors though.
That's
Yeah.
that's where I'm going.
You should probably go over there and say, hey, you know, what you got over here, just in case I need. No.
Yeah.
You know, hey, what do y'all need?
Where you keep your shit, buddy?
Yeah, how's it going? Hey, are you a diabetic? Okay, good. That refrigerator's not going to run very long, is it? Okay. You know, but that's the reality of this, and that's what it's going to turn into incredibly fast. I mean,
Crap.
It's just.
Can I come live with you?
No,
I work hard.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm so glad y'all didn't ask me where I'm going. when it hits the
Yeah,
fan.
that'd
I
be
wasn't
inappropriate.
I wasn't gonna tell you. I was like, no way.
You're gonna go to Montana with John Bird.
Yeah, that's right.
Not unless we're married.
Hey, listen. Once all this goes down, we're willing to do whatever.
Do we have a jeweler that advertises?
No, we do not.
Darn it.
There you go.
Speaking of advertisers, we had these guys weren't ever advertisers, but it was an adventure that Tony and I went on. So there's a company that reaches out to sales department and they are interested in advertising on our show. You know, our audience is swelling up so big as of late. It's crazy. So this guy reaches out. It's a company that sells silver. Okay.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah.
and it's super nice people. All right.
Super nice people. Yeah.
And so they just buy and sell silver or whatever. And we go and meet them. And again, super nice. A lot of interesting, fascinating conversation because he's got this other thing that he does. And he asked, hey, do you want to come see? They've got a community. They built a community. And they all live within this community. I would dare call it you could call it a commune or whatever. And it's all based in kind of like I don't want to target it as being Catholic, but for somebody that's not Catholic, I'd be like, this is a Catholic deal. He's like, we'd love for you to come visit our commune and see how we do things. Now, at that time, I'm like, okay, well, they want to advertise on the show. I'll go check it out. But they never did, by the way. But I decided, I'm like, yeah, I'll go up there. But I didn't want to go by myself. And the salespeople were like, I don't want to go. And so I reached out to Tony Gump.
That's awesome.
And Tony Gump's like, yeah, I'll go with you. He thought it was cool. And we go there, and it is this big. It's like it's like a small city, and there's this giant church. I mean, there's got to be a lot of money put into this. People have their own little houses. There's a farm. They got horses. They got animals, chickens running around, all kinds of stuff. And it was so fascinating. But the takeaway, because you go to another part of the property, they got lumber mills, they got all this stuff to produce, like, they send out books and stuff all over the world. Like the guy that, I guess the head honcho writes books, and they got this big printing press operation in a basement. And
yeah, it was a $6 million printing press down in there.
It sounds like you walked into the end of Atlas Shrugged. You know, it's like, did you run into John Galt and the Reardons running around there?
It was crazy. We were fascinated by it, but we also, our takeaway was, when it does hit the fan, like, these guys are probably gonna be straight. Like, they got enough going on there to where they could survive. And Tony will tell you, it was a fascinating experience.
It was I don't even know what I can say about it, but it was fascinating.
I mean, they had their own radio station.
Awesome.
Like, the guy that runs the place hosted a radio show that was online, so it wasn't over the airwaves, but they had a whole nice studio. It was funny because when we went in their studio, me and Tony walk in there, and the lady, one of the ladies' assistants or whatever, she goes, you don't have to, but normally we take our shoes off before we come in here because this is like, exotic wool carpet or something crazy. Like, it's really fancy.
Is it local?
Yeah, it's actually over towards, once you going towards, God, what would you call that? It's down Donovan Valley Road.
Do you think Bear Creek? It's in that area. I don't want to give it away, but it's Bear Creek area. Starrett. Yeah,
if you're going from Leeds to like Pelham, the back way through the woods, right? It's just crazy. I mean, we were amazed. We were nervous about going because we're like, they're taking us to their commune. Like, what is this?
I know who you're talking about, actually.
Do you? What's the name of it?
So I have a couple friends that I've heard this story.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, my uncle runs it.
No. This sounds very familiar, actually. But is that like Pelham area? Is that past Pelham or where?
It's before you get there. Okay. It's Our Lady. Oh, what was it called, Tony? It was like Our Lady Queen.
Should you say it?
I don't know. I'll say it. They got a website and everything.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Look, Google it. Yeah, just Google it. It's fine.
Okay.
They don't mind us talking about it.
Boy.
I think they want more people living there anyway, so maybe we're going to get them some recruits. Our Lady of Good Counsel School. No. That's it right there.
Yeah. Do you mind to put it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, put that up. Wow. This is that church. This is and there's offices and all kinds of stuff in that church.
We went in that place and went to the very top.
And I think under that church, is that where all the printing stuff was?
Yeah, so it was in the basement. Second floor.
That's what they told you. That's where all the guns are. Right? All the guns and ammo are under that thing. There's no printing going on there.
One thing we didn't talk about with them was firearms. So
I was like, did nobody ask this?
You know, they probably did have a lot of guns. See if they got more pictures.
You do not put that together without starting with a lot of guns.
One of the takeaways... See if they got a photo at the top.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm gonna
poster bed.
It's not really giving me much. Give me a second.
A honeymoon suite.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's wild how much that they've got there. I'm trying to see. Look at the far right. It's got
isn't it?
Yeah, you said picture on the far right. That's another picture of the church.
I wonder if it's one of those you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Is this was it Stargate? Or not Stargate, but the who are the ones that were waiting for the Hellbop? California.
The guy with the really wide eyes.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of.
Here is
Heaven's
one
Gate.
aspect of this
Heaven's
is when they took us up to the radio studio and we were meeting everybody. And again, I cannot say enough good things about these people because they're super nice. They showed us a video. I mean, we were getting like the official tour.
That's awesome.
They showed us a video which goes through all these different things that their church is kind of based on. And a fascinating backstory. It goes back hundreds and hundreds of years and seeing the Virgin Mary over here or whatever. And at the end of it, it was that C word, but it was, what was it? It was called Our Lady Queen something. You know, that was the name they were calling it. And once they got to the end of this video that was kind of just showing an overview of the church, this big Q pops up on the screen.
A cube?
A Q, the letter Q.
Oh, okay.
And then it kind of backs up into this, the Q is actually part of the word or whatever. Now, I didn't think anything about that until we all connected the dots that these people were adamant Trump supporters. Call them conservative, call them whatever, but they were big believers in Trump, which, that's why they reach out to the show. And I'm like, is this a QAnon church?
That's interesting.
Because I was like, because I know a little bit about QAnon, but I'm not deep enough in it to say I can point out a QAnon person in public.
I bet you could.
Probably could actually.
Now,
but
one
they wear a
takeaway
shirt
on
or
that,
something?
One takeaway about that, we show up, and immediately when we show up, I notice nobody's dragging their feet. All these people are workers, and they get down.
Kids, adults,
right.
all of them.
And that little boy was carrying around this musket and pretending to shoot stuff. So I obviously there's guns on that property, and I saw a couple cameras looking at us too.
Oh yeah, that place is heavily
I bet that place is
surveilled.
like Disney.
Yes,
I did some work for them, and that place is nuts.
and it was one of the most Tony Gump things ever because that was one of the first things he said. He was like, he goes up to the guy, I don't remember his name. We'll just call him Josh. He goes, Josh, one thing I noticed, nobody's dragging their feet around here. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, we got everybody's works hard, works for their, does their role in the community and everything else. I mean, they've got kids, adults, single adults, married adults. There was one old lady that came running up to us and hugged us. She's like, oh my God, it's Andrew McClain. Like, she's a big time listener. And then she looks at Tony and she goes, and you're John Byrne.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not. And then he's like, no, I'm Tony Gump. She's like, oh, Tony Gump. And so it was a whole thing.
That's awesome.
They were super nice. It's just the whole concept of
it's just so different. But the
really
reality
different.
is that that's the way it's supposed to be.
Really shouldn't be. I mean, when you talk about the shit hitting the fan, like, you kind of want one of those places.
Yeah, and this place was real, like, doomsday type prep, and they're ready, and they're also really big into silver. They actually invited me back out there. I don't want to tell a story, but it was mainly about silver and where it was going and things like that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Wow.
And he gave me what's the name of the place where they saw the Virgin Mary? It's called like Margarine or something like that. It started with an M. And so they would have that logo printed on their silver coins. He actually gave me one. And Marja something. Yeah, you can probably hit that and it'll say it. Our Lady Peace. What's the name? I don't know.
Lady Margarine?
There was
Is this
there it is at the top. What does that say?
Medjugorje or something? Medjugorje?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Another. I don't mean to go into this whole thing because I've actually never told this story before, but now I'm locked in. There was. Where was I going to go with this? I can't remember what I was going to say. I had another part of this story. Oh, here we go. So these guys ended up catching a bunch of heat for a coffee shop that they owned.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where I originally met them. They wanted to meet at this coffee shop, and they owned it. And the name of the coffee shop, I think, is, Villaggio.
Yeah.
Cola Francesco.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's super nice. It seems super upscale. But they have rules that say you got to dress modestly. You cannot have your cell phones in there and different things that would just, there's really not that far out there, but it's strict rules. Like, you got to follow these if you're going to come in here and you're going to get, coffee and whatever else. And some, pink-haired commie, I guess over the past year or so, some girl came up there. Maybe she was going to get coffee and she saw the rules and she's flipped out. She makes a TikTok about it, and it goes viral. Ugh. And then all of a sudden, these guys are just getting absolutely hammered.
I pray for that.
Rules.
Please let that happen to me. Is that all I have to do? Because I tell you what, if I got a bunch of these people in front of the store, number one, I'm going to take that horn.
Right.
And it's going to be awesome. But I would love the attention for crying out loud. I mean, please.
It was wild because I didn't put that together until after I met the guy, and I started pulling up some of the TikToks. I think AL.com did a story on it, but it turned into this thing where when I say viral, I'm talking about people that don't even live in Alabama were doing TikToks about it and talking about how this place was just one big cult, and they were, yada yada yada, and so it was crazy. And I went through I feel like I put a lot of effort into getting to know those people in the sense of doing the coffee shop, because we sat there with him for like 2 hours. Then we went over to the commune. And then he just never did any business with me.
Did you see these rules about the coffee shop? Can you read that?
Yeah, let's see. This place is different. If you can read it better, you read it.
Yeah, just about the dress code. It says modest dress is required. No short dresses or shorts above the knee, tank tops, spandex leggings, exposed shoulders, cleavage showing and back, etc. Profanity or actions which do not fit the norm of Christian behavior is not allowed. So that's basically that.
If you don't agree with that, why do you want to go to what? See, that's the problem with the Glock switches, is because they're run by people that would rather make that company suffer because they don't agree with their rules. Right?
When there's 100 other coffee places to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't go.
Exactly. Why do they want to do that?
If they have a coffee shop that says you must support Kamala Harris to come in here, I'm just not going to go. I'm going to
stand out there and laugh and watch them go out of business.
Watch them go out of business in a matter of 2 weeks. But, it was wild. And I really wish John Bird would have gone with us. But it was
I might not have come back.
He would actually join the commune. I got a feeling he would sign up.
Out on
before
the
he
street
left.
playing my guitar.
Part of me wanted to kind of stay, like 2% of me. But everybody at the coffee shop was well-dressed and
You
nice.
mean stay forever?
Yeah. I mean, we got in the truck with this guy, and he drove us around the property, showing us everything else. And I mean, it's like, it's a whole big to do.
The only thing that got me,
out.
He told one joke to me. I was getting ready to eat something, and he says, "Don't worry, there's nothing in that." Kind of referring to the Kool-Aid type crap.
Oh, yeah, gave us like a cookie or something.
That's funny.
It's
bad joke for me. I didn't like it.
You were like, "Thanks, Mr. Jones."
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Jones.
And they're very adamant about inviting people back as well, like inviting us back. They really want us to come back.
Let's go. I'll go.
So I think they're pretty open with civilians coming in and scoping the place
You know what?
out.
I'll do a live Angry Shakespeare.
That's not, no way. No.
Hey, I don't think you could do that in the coffee shop.
Okay. I would dress modestly.
Yeah, the coffee shop is actually not far from you guys' store. If you go down 280 and you get to the 119 intersection, it's just you pass that, and then there's shopping centers on the left and the right. That coffee shop is beside the one on the right.
Yeah.
And so...
And they do have the best gelato, by the way. They gave me some chocolate. Oh, it's awesome.
I didn't
chocolate.
have any, but they talked very highly of it. So it was, you know, it's
fantastic.
imported. Like their coffee beans are imported from some crazy country and all. It's very high end stuff. Which, if you got that kind of money where you're building those type of facilities, you know,
What were the prices like?
I don't know. I'm not going to
Decent?
pay for them. If you invite me over there, you got to give it to me for free. Cool.
Well, the reality is that they probably do high end so that it's just like a Coors Light out of my refrigerator tastes the same as the one over in Mountain Brook that's like $9.
Yeah.
Right, but it keeps the riffraff out.
Yeah.
Right, so that's probably what they're going for, right? Like,
I just wonder where all the money comes from. You know?
Oh, it's all donations. The place, I actually know how they work. See, we had a long talk about this, but they get lots of donations, and they take those donations, they do their whole print press, they make the books.
That's awesome.
They had their silver company, they had the coffee shop, and they're trying to basically create a little small community.
They do have millions of people that listen to their radio shows, listen to their broadcast, and buy their literature. So it's not far-fetched to think that they do
Millions?
get a bunch of... And it's all tax-free, obviously.
They
Yeah.
wrote their books out, and I think it was 106 different languages. Am I right about
Oh,
that?
I'm telling you, man, it's a crazy operation.
We got to
they
go
going.
back.
John Bird, if you go, I have a feeling you're not getting out of there. I don't know what.
Yeah, you'll end up, not that they'll force you to stay, but I think you'll want to stay.
Okay, here's what we'll do. Okay, we three will go. I will wear my MAGA hat, and we will put a little camera right here because they don't allow cell phones. Right? Put a little camera right here.
Well, we had our cell phones with us at the commune, which is it's
I mean,
located
you can't be
separately
doing
from the
this,
coffee
so
shop.
probably. They
Yeah,
probably
I didn't pull my
wouldn't
phone
like
out or anything,
Yeah.
but
I was tempted to record with my phone just the whole conversation because it was so like, what's going on here, you know?
Well, these guys are the talk of the town in the Catholic community locally. I know I've got friends that go to a Catholic church that know those people because sometimes they will show up to their church and attend their services.
Wow.
And the people at the churches almost feel like that's what they're trying to do, that they're trying to recruit people.
Oh, yeah.
To bring them over there because they made it clear that they could use some more hands on deck.
Right, so they have
where
a
they were.
plan. Is that what people are mad about? It's like, well,
Yeah, I
hey.
wonder if they're affiliated with, gosh, what's the name of the Catholic facility over in Irondale? It's, it's worldwide. They have like a huge
the TV
network.
station.
Yes.
like WTNN or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Yeah, it's big time. I almost got a job there, but I wonder if they're affiliated or maybe trying to.
I should have asked that. That may be.
What is it,
I don't think
Irondale
they
what?
are.
Yeah, it's in Irondale.
Irondale
and it's
TV
worldwide.
station.
It's like big time Catholic TV or
Yeah.
You know who else printed their books in
EWTN. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go. The Marxists printed all of their books in every language.
Yeah.
So I mean that's exactly how that got out there. There are people that would take one in English or whatever, and then one in another language, and you could learn like word for word because you
Right.
could read. So that they did that, and I mean,
Fascinating.
hundreds of languages.
Fascinating. Now I got to book another trip to the commune. I didn't plan on that.
I have
but-
something to ask you, JD. Wise Man once told me to get 5 guns and get lots of ammunition, and you want your 5 guns to all be different. Like you want to have a pistol, you want to have a shotgun in a certain area in your house. Does that seem to be kind of like a good gauge?
Well, so you need 10 if you're going to do that, because I mean the Marine Corps taught me one thing: if you have 1, you have none. If you have 2, you have 1. If you have 3, and it just goes on and on, right? So usually what I do is I have very specific things out of it, but this is why it's hard for the customers, right? When I'm trying to talk to them about this, because like they're not going to go and buy 2 of everything, but I've got almost 2 of everything because if you need parts or whatever, I mean, absolutely. And so I've got very minimal calibers. I don't have them all over the place. It's just something that very common. So I mean, but yeah, 5. I mean, I guess a pistol, a shotgun, home defense. I mean, the reality is you need a 22. I would have a couple 22s suppressed.
Yeah.
I mean, because you want to be quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
And unless you get a suppressor that every time you shoot it goes, hey now.
that would be dope.
I'm taking you down. Hey now.
Put some little whistles in it. And
but imagine one with a Glock switch on it that says "Hey now" every time it fires. It'd be like every Friday show. Like, hello.
Hey, do they still have the things where you can go and the gun comes out? Like
I'm sure they do. They have everything. That stuff is all just. I don't get any of it. That'd be cool. So I don't pay too much attention to any of it at all.
Well, that's good stuff. Again, thanks for all the gifts and everything else.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very excited about that. John Bird couldn't even wait to wear his shirt until after the show. So
I am all decked out. Look at me. Look at me.
He's on top of it.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So, what protects the First Amendment?
The Second Amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
What protects the Second Amendment?
JD from Red Lamb Rifle.
Yes.
You are the second person. Have I told you this before?
No.
You're the second person that's ever got that.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing. And I hired the first one that got it that quick.
Really?
I did. The thing is that owning the gun store has been a fascinating journey, right? But you get such an interesting perspective of some of this stuff, and if you believe that the first needs protecting, then the second needs protecting as well, right? But most everybody will go with like, oh, the Fourth Amendment or this, or like we do, the people. The reality is that it's the independent gun store owners that do.
Right.
We are the ones that protect this, because we've seen time and time again where the big ones, like the Walmarts, the Academies, when the pressure's on, they have the money to sustain whatever.
Yeah, they'll fold.
But they will fold, and they will stop. So like you can't even depend on them to stay in, to keep selling those firearms. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, this is just because I don't like hypocrisy, and I hear a bunch of nonsense. And I was like, we are the protectors of this, right? And then of course, me being biased, a veteran, a Marine, that independent gun store owners are like the superheroes, the patriots. I believe that we are the true patriots, right? Because I've put my ass on the line once. I signed a blank check, and I went to a sandbox, and then I come back here and like, hey, let's open a gun store, make sure we can do this, and we assume an unbelievable amount of risk, right? Everything is done. There's so much risk, and the ATF can come in. They don't like us. If they come in, boom, and then and it kind of goes to like buying local and all that sort of stuff. It's like you have to buy local, right? You don't even want to buy online because they don't care about the local stuff. And if there's no local independent gun store owners, guess what? There's no there's no gun stores, and nobody is doing your transfers. Nobody's selling you anything because you cannot get them without us.
Man.
Yep. So you started off in the sandbox protecting the Second Amendment. You came home and you protected the Second Amendment again with the store.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a perspective that like I don't know that people sit down and think about, because I mean I didn't until I was like, man, this is kind of crazy. Like, no, the only people that are actually protecting this stuff is us, because we take all the risk. Right. And then get shit on when oh, well, can you get me, it's online for $2.99. Yep. Nope. If you could do math, here's the thing. It's almost always more expensive to buy online.
Right.
They bifurcate all the pricing, and it's like this and that. And so it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's gonna be a headache. But
we figured it out though. I mean, it's not hard. It's just math.
That's a great point though. That local gun stores are the ones protecting it.
Not even just that, but the government's got basically all-out war against small business as a whole. We know that as a vape shop. I mean, they're always coming at us. They just want the big corporations to have the control, so that way they can control them. It's so much easier.
Because they know that they will fold.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They will absolutely fold. And I mean, it's insane.
They don't want to miss out on that BlackRock Vanguard money.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't either if you could, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't need $700 trillion?
You're right. No doubt. Well, listen, it's been awesome and informative. You've watched the podcast, so you know we do like final words, right? Like I'm gonna say, Tony Gump's gonna give me his final words, which could be anything.
I don't know that I've made it to the end of the podcast before.
So it's nothing special. It's like just one message you want to leave the audience with, which would have been perfect to say.
We should cut
small
that.
business owners.
Yeah,
just repost it.
Yeah, just repost it.
That'd be good. You can even make a fart joke if you want to, because John Bird goes last because he always leaves with a bang. But I'll give Tony Gump the floor. Tony Gump, go ahead.
Sure, the normal. Just get plenty of water, meat, sunlight, and sleep, and stay active. And make sure you go see Redland Rifle on 280. It's a great store. 5% tax. I highly recommend those guys. They're good guys in person, too. Make sure you go there, get strapped, and get ready for the end of the world.
It's coming.
That's what I'm talking about. What's your final words?
So I just really want to thank everybody for how awesome the response has been to us opening. I absolutely appreciate it. it has been so eye opening, and terrifying.
Right.
It's been an incredible ride, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that we're coming up with. But yeah, I agree with Tony. Buy guns.
Buy guns.
Buy
Stock
ammo.
up on food.
Yes.
Do all the things. Get to know your community. Create a commune over in Powell. John Bird, final words.
Get a gun. If you've only got one gun, you've got none. So get more.
That's so true.
I am treating myself to a gun, a badass John Wick type gun. But I'm going to have help from JD, and I'm getting it for me for Christmas. So here's the deal. Get yourself 2 things for Christmas. An Evel Knievel stunt cycle. And a gun from Redland Rifle. Woo!
There you go. Look at that.
All right.
That's awesome.
That's good advice. Did you see the seriousness in his face during that whole spiel?
I just hope you don't wait till December. You're going to want to do that before the election.
Yeah, you don't need to wait till
November
December.
4, baby.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We'll cast your vote for you.
Yes, we will. Absentee vote. Just
Yes.
remember that. All right, we're going to get out of here. JD, thank you again, man.
Yes,
This was really
sir.
cool
Thank
for
you
to
very
come
much. This is
by.
awesome.
We had a lot of fun. And until next time, see you, cuz!